Monica did great in challenges. I think nobody won more individual immunities than Monica did. She won 3. That was great. Props to her for throwing it down, getting the necklace around her at 3 tribal councils. You can't say enough for those elements of gameplay, because it's tough to win out here. It's tough to win 1 individual immunity challenge, let alone 3. So, Monica did great in that sense. And also Monica held a lot of power at different tribal councils. Tyson and Jervis stood pat with their alliance. Tyson and Jervis said, we're sticking with this 7. In the end, Monica did too, but Monica was the person that was pulled in the most directions throughout this game. And props to her for not going in those directions. She stuck with her alliance and made it to the end. Tyson and Jervis weren't pulled. Tyson and Jervis had one plan of attack, and they stayed with that plan. Monica had many different avenues, many different options, and she maintained, the strong road to get to the end. She probably had the most relationships with the most people out in this game. She was the hardest working at camp. I mean, when I was at tribe camp, there's nobody that worked harder than Monica. Boiling water, making rice, making coffee, washing dishes, making sure everybody's taken care of. And that motherly nature of her, really helped us sort of glue together at the tribe camp. So, Monica was an all-around great player. And I wouldn't be surprised if she got at least a few votes tonight. Jervis and Tyson, bonded early in this game, and they together orchestrated the blind side of Aris and myself. When the merge came and the lines were drawn 7-4, it was Tyson and Jervis. And who actually knows who was calling those shots? I mean, a lot of us threw our blame at Tyson, but it could have been just as easy that Jervis was the one incepting those ideas into Tyson's mind. And it'll be interesting to hear tonight, hopefully they come to Tribal Council real honest, who was the one making those choices. I wouldn't put it past Jervis. He could be the mastermind behind it all. And Jervis was an easygoing, laid-back guy. He didn't really seem to engender a lot of hatred. Tyson has a lot of blood on his hands. Tyson got a lot of heat at Tribal Council. Jervis, not so much. Jervis tried hard to maintain his relationships, even though people got voted out one at a time that he was with. So, I mean, Jervis could easily get a few votes tonight. I wouldn't put it past some of these people on the jury to, hate Tyson to a point where they wouldn't want to give him that kind of money. And I wouldn't put it past the people on the jury to actually really see who might have been behind some of these moves. And the person behind these moves could have been Jervis. Tyson was real smart in that he immediately established who his biggest threats were. And his biggest threats were myself, Aris, Laura Moret. He immediately established that in his mind and took the game in the direction where he got those people out. The name of the game in Survivor is to get before you get got. And Tyson did that. He kept people with him who he knew were not strategic threats, who were not big thinkers, who were not, in fact, really that intelligent at all. He put the people around him that he knew would have a difficult time galvanizing together against him. And he immediately got the people out that he knew would try to get him out. So, props to Tyson for getting before he got got. That was really what he did right. He had a great strategy. What Tyson did wrong was probably put a little bit too much of a target on his back. It's my theory that in Survivor, you want to enact your strategy as best you can, burning as few bridges as possible. And I do believe that there's a way Tyson could have gone about getting the similar strategy accomplished, burning maybe just a few less bridges. He's got a target on his back, and I think that might come back to haunt him a little bit tonight. Jervis got to the end. I mean, and he didn't get to the end so much by his own individual gameplay, but he got to the end by aligning with somebody that he saw had great gameplay. And that's a strategy that's been used, season after season in Survivor, where people ride the coattails of a great player to the end and then hope that that great player makes some mistakes. Getting to the end is not easy, and Jervis chose wisely when he picked Tyson to go to the end with, because Tyson's a brilliant player. But what Jervis did wrong was he never established himself as his own individual player. He rode Tyson's coattails, hoping that Tyson would make a mistake, but Tyson's a smart player, and Tyson never really made that big of a mistake. So for Jervis, now he finds himself at the end with a great player who never faltered. And that's going to be tough for him to win some votes tonight, because that's a big mistake on his part. Monica's strategy of getting to the end was, some could say, brilliant, because what she did, instead of voting people out so that she could get there, was she had interpersonal gameplay that just made everybody want to take her there. it's harder to get everybody to take you to the end than to actually vote people out so you can get there on your own. And Monica accomplished that. Now, that strategy is a little bit double-edged, because to make people want to take you to the end, you have to be a little bit annoying, a little bit obnoxious. You have to make people believe that there's no way you're going to get the vote. So, it's a fine line for her. Was she too annoying? Are people going to remember how obnoxious she is? Or was it just enough that people can forget how annoying she was and realize, like, wow, she had a great strategy and had everybody thinking that she was a gem to take to the end, but she couldn't win. But in essence, if she turns it around tonight at Final Tribal, tells us about her strategy, we could see it as brilliant, and she could win 8-0 Final Tribal, $1 million to Monica right away. My vote's open for tonight, I'm not completely decided who I'm going to vote for this evening, and based on the authenticity and honesty that I get from these final three, my vote's up for grabs. So I just want to see, people answer the questions tonight and actually represent what they did. I don't want to see boastfulness. I don't want to hear pageant answers. I want to hear authentic, honest, emotional answers, and, my vote could go to anybody tonight.